Hey, how you doing? I am Justin Sandico, and if you just got a guitar and you're not sure what to do with it, then this is the video for you. I'm going to explain a little bit about tuning, show you some really awesome songs that you can play with just 2 chords, and I'm going to show you how to play those 2 chords, and we'll talk a little bit about strumming as well. Of course, this is just a taster, like a quick start guide to the guitar. If you want the proper full-on course, then go and check out my app, the Justin Guitar Lessons and Songs app, which has got all of the lessons on my beginner's course, which are also on the website, but it's also got super awesome guitar karaoke play along stuff, which is tons of fun when you start out and you just know a few chords. You don't have to worry too much about strumming or anything like that, and it just sounds really cool. It's the most important thing when you start on guitar, is having a great time with it, and the app will really help you with that. So first thing you need to do though is get your guitar in tune. If your guitar's not in tune, it ain't never going to sound good. So some of you may have already bought yourself a clip-on tuner. If you've got a tuner and you know how to use it, then great. Otherwise, you'll find a completely free tuner over on my app as well. If you do want to use that and you're completely new to guitar, hit the button that says manual mode, then hit each string one at a time before you play it. So you'll hit that low E, the thickest one, and then you'll play it. Get yourself in tune on that one. Once that one's in tune, then you hit the next string. Okay, the reason that's really good for beginners is most automatic tuners will guess what note it's supposed to be. If you don't know what the notes are supposed to be, then that might be a little bit confusing. However, it's probably useful for you to know that, just in case you've bought yourself a tuner and you want to use that anyway. The names of the notes starting from the thickest string should be an E. So when you play that, you should see an E in your tuner. The next one is an A. Next one down is a D. Next one is a G. Next one is a B, and the next one is an E, a high E. If you're struggling to use the tuner, either in the app or a tuner that you've got, go and check out my website. You'll find more lessons on how to get your guitar in tune, including more tuning notes if you prefer that method. So in order to play a song, you need to play some chords. Now, there are other options. You'll find some apps that show you how to play like single notes one at a time and stuff like that, and that's okay. Most people don't find it satisfying for very long. I personally think that it's a better idea to start off with chords. If you look around completely independent kind of review places like Reddit, you'll find that there's lots of people using my method, finding it really super successful after having tried other methods that they weren't able to stick to. So I would encourage you to start off with checking out chords. It is a little bit, tiny bit steeper right at the beginning, but it's a lot more satisfying. You'll play like real songs on your own really, really fast that way. So before we get into actually how to play the 2 chords we're going to check out, which are going to be A and D chords, I want to show you some of the awesome songs that you'll be able to play just with those 2 chords. And I'm going to use the play along stuff that you'll get in the app just to show you how much fun it's going to be.
I'm a bad liar.
Everybody's talking about bag, is it shag, is it drag, is it bag, is it rag, is it tag, is it this, is it that, isn't it the most? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Come on, let's say it. What's that? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Yeah.
just blowing smoke. Hey, yeah, we're just blowing smoke. Hey, yeah, out here going broke. Hey, yeah, yeah, we're just blowing smoke.
Almost everyone that learns to play guitar has the same problems when they start off. The first one is they try and learn a chord and they feel like their fingers are too thin or too fat or too long or too short to be able to play the chords. It's not the case. It just takes a bit more practice than you might first have thought. So your first battle is going to be getting the fingers in the right place. I'm going to show you how to get your fingers down for an A chord and a D chord, but just a kind of quick version. If you want a much more detailed one, like I said, either check out the website or check out my app where you'll get the full experience and the full lesson. That's usually the first thing. Second thing is people's fingers really hurt and they realize that pressing their soft flesh of their fingertips down on pieces of metal is a little bit more painful than they first thought. Again, as part of my course, I got loads of tips to try and minimize the finger pain, making sure you're practicing smart, not practicing hard. Okay, so don't fall into just really trying to do it and hurting your fingers. There are smart ways of doing it, making sure that you take regular breaks, only pressing down when you need to, that kind of thing. All explained in the courses. So be aware of that. It is going to hurt a little bit. Once you've got the chords under your fingers and you've battled through a bit of the pain, the struggle then is being able to change from one chord to another. Again, in the courses, I've got loads of exercises to help you make your chord changes as fast as possible. Once you've got your chord changes fast, then you want to be able to play a tune. At the very beginning, you'll probably be able to find, even within 1 or 2 practice sessions, that you're able to play along with some of those songs if you just get the chord, strum it, and then immediately start trying to change to the next chord. Okay, that's okay when you first start. And don't expect everything to be perfect. You're not going to be playing guitar like a master in the first day, or even in the first week, maybe not even in the first couple of weeks. Okay, you should be able to play a song, I would have thought, within a week. If you like 3 or 4 practice sessions, I would, for most people, most of the time. After you get the chord changes, then it's time to start worrying about strumming and strumming patterns. But when you start, I would recommend just strumming on beat 1, which is usually when the chord's going to change. So strumming on beat 1, where in the app you'll see that the chords kind of light up when you should strum at that beginning of each bar. So just strum on those ones. As you get better, you want to introduce more and more strumming patterns. That's the lay of the land. Let me take you through now how to play the A chord and the D chord. Strumming wise, just use your thumb. If you want to use a pick, again, lessons over on the website or in the app if you want to get a little bit more detail about how to hold the pick, what pick you should use. Again, really important to get the right pick. If you start off with the wrong pick, using a pick is going to feel really difficult. You'll be like, no, I'm not going to use a pick. It's usually because you started off with the wrong pick. So make sure you start on the correct pick. Very, very thin pick is the little hint for you there. Okay, let's get to a close-up. So let's start off with the D chord. This is what it looks like. First finger is going down in the 2nd fret, so that would be considered the 1st fret between the bit of bone or plastic and the first bit of metal. That's the 1st fret. The first finger is going down in the 2nd fret, kind of up near to the metal. Don't get it right at the back. Nearer to the metal means you can press softer and still get a good note. So start there. Then 2nd finger is going down the 2nd fret of the thinner string. So 1st and 2nd fingers are both going to be in that 2nd fret, as close as you can to the bit of metal, and then the 3rd finger is going to go on the string in between. That's the 2nd string, again up to the metal as close as you can, although for most people when they start, the D looks a bit more like that. Okay, it wants to be pushing that 3rd finger up toward the metal if you can, but don't be freaked out if it starts like that. Also, don't be freaked out if you find that it sounds a bit like this the first time. That is really normal. When you first try and play a chord, be like, half the notes won't ring out, it'll all be crunchy. Again, I've got exercises over on the website that'll help you figure out what fingers need to move and how and all of that sort of stuff. But just try and have a go. Trying to keep on the fingertips is the biggest hint I can give you in a super short lesson. If you let the fingers all lay over like this, it's a bad idea. Do try and keep the thumb here around the back when you start. You will see me playing most of the time with the thumb over the top. That's not how you should start. It's how you play later on, but it's not how you should start. You want to build up this muscle here in between your thumb and your first finger there. So try and keep the thumb round the back of the neck a bit, and that'll also help you get right up onto the tips of your fingers. If they lay flat, that 3rd finger here is going to mute that thinner string. So that's a D chord. That's the first one to try and get down. Just playing the notes one at a time with the thumb. moving the fingers around up and down, experimenting a bit to see if you can get that chord ringing out good. Like I said, there's a much more detailed lesson on the site or the app if you need a little bit more info than that. And to get to the A chord, what I'd recommend is leaving your first finger down, lifting the other two off. Slide that first finger back so it's still within the second fret, but just a bit further back from the metal. Then the second finger is going to go down there in the second fret. So the same fret again, but on the fourth string from the ground, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the third finger is going in the second fret as well on the second string. So they're all in the same fret. That's going to be a little bit crammed. Some of you are going to be going like, I'm never going to be able to do that. You will. It's just going to take some practice. It's one of those things, like the very first time you try this, you'll be like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do that. But you will. Probably only take you a few practice sessions as well. It comes a lot sooner than you'd think. It's just those very initial stages. It feels really like impossible. And then just as you start to think that you're getting it right, then your fingers start hurting and you're, oh, I can't do it. That's okay. That's your first practice session. Then give it a couple of hours at least, if not the next day, and come back and have another go at doing that chord. So we go at doing the A. So first finger in the third string, 1, 2, 3 in the second fret, in the middle low, and then second finger and third finger on either side of that first finger, still in the same fret. Then try and pick the notes out one at a time till you can get a nice one. Now technically with the D chord, you're not supposed to pick the thickest string, or the thickest two strings really, but definitely not the thickest string. But again, when you first start, it's your first day, just don't worry about it. Be kind to yourself. Know that learning guitar is not super easy, and especially if you want to learn properly, like starting off with chords, then there is a bit of a steep step. The very first couple of weeks, a little bit difficult, but if you can stick with it, it gets a lot easier very quickly, and you'll be able to play loads more songs. If you're following my beginner course in grade 1, the first kind of series of lessons, you're going to learn the 8 essential chords, all about strumming, how to get your guitar in tune, about guitar sounds, loads and loads of fun stuff. If you stick around and you're still into it, in grade 2 we learn a lot more different chords. We learn power chords, we look at finger picking, we look at playing blues and improvising and scales. And then if you stick around still for grade 3, we've got even more fun stuff. We get into loads more things to do with guitar sounds, chord embellishments, exploring different chords. It's really, really, really solid, and the website is completely free. The app has the songs, which I think are the key to keeping it fun and keeping you engaged with learning guitar, because it's all about playing songs in the end. So even though the lessons are free on the site, the app has that little special magic stuff that's going to help you really stick at playing guitar and keep it loads and loads of fun. I know you're going to love it. There's a free trial. Please do go and check it out. You know, I know I'm kind of pushing you a product here in the lesson, but I promise you it's really, really good. It absolutely works for learning guitar. I would like to think better than any other method. Check out the reviews around and you'll probably get that impression too. The honest ones, that is, not the ones that people pay other people to write, if you know what I mean. I would encourage you to go and have a browse around on the site as well. Nearly all of it's free. There's a couple of paid sections, but 99.9% of it is free. So go and browse around. You've got a lot to gain, nothing to lose, and I'm sure you're going to have yourself a fantastic guitar adventure. Good luck, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon, I hope. You take care. Bye-bye.